because I remember telling you, I need you to come with me because you might have to drive me to the hospital afterwards because if somebody breaks my fingers, because that's something that happens there. And I wasn't thrilled about the possibility of breaking my fingers, but I was willing to accept that.
Hello, my name's Jamie. Welcome to the FormABLE Podcast, where we talk about formable moments in martial arts as well as formable moments with martial artists. Today I have Michelle Nelson Kuzma with me. She is back from the Dog Brothers gathering, as well as our trip for the Inosanto Academy out in Los Angeles. And we wanted to bring her back in to talk a little bit about her Dog Brothers fighting. Hey, Michelle, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Did you hit record this time?
I did. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. Appreciate that.
We tried this once already, but the record button wasn't on. So I'm going to try and say what I said before. This is my wonderful friend Jamie, and we were able to go to California, him and his wife Tina, and our friend Carl, and all four of us. We got an Airbnb down there and spent a week at the Inosanto Academy and had a wonderful time. At least I had a wonderful time. Did you have a wonderful time?
I had one of the best trips I'd ever had. Just having my wife there with me and being able to share that was just huge. Got to see some people that mean a great deal to me and become closer with some folks that I didn't know that well. So it was amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's what I like about the Inosanto Academy is you always meet new people and you never know who they're going to be or what country they're even going to be from, and you get to meet all different people from all different walks of life, all different countries. And that's one of the things I love about this art is, the cool people that you get to meet in it. It's not just about the punching people and fighting. It's about the camaraderie and the community of people and just the love of the art and the love of Guru Dan. How the Inosanto Academy goes. So
yeah, thank you for saying that. There's nothing better than having like a common interest sometimes with people, right?
Yeah.
And although we're all martial artists and we're doing different systems, a lot of the times one person's emphasis might be jiu-jitsu, another person's emphasis might be Muay Thai or Dog Brothers martial arts for that matter, right? But when we meet on that common ground, something magical, I don't know, seems to happen. I mean, I end up talking with people and getting to know them in a different way. I hear about their dogs, different things that, it like you said, it just goes above and beyond a training. My Tai Chi instructor tells me that he uses martial arts to cultivate relationships.
Yeah, I like that.
And when he said that to me, I was like, wow. I think I'm doing that too, and I don't necessarily know it,
Yeah.
but it's a beautiful thing.
I definitely think of, the JKD people as my family, my JKD family. So, I mean, I have my family, like my husband and my children and my aunts and uncles. I have that family. I have my church family and I have my martial arts family. And those are the people, they're all very precious. And I love being a part of this lifestyle.
Yeah.
So
sometimes I think it's almost about, as weird as this sounds, being vulnerable in front of people. Because my friends that I have done acting with and my friends that I've done martial arts with are some of my closest friends. And it just so happens both groups have seen me make an ass out of myself at one time or another.
No, not you, Jamie.
Oh, yeah. And if anybody's watching the podcast, they've probably already seen it once or twice. So, yeah, no problem at all.
Well, we spent a whole week together in the Airbnb. So I think we got to know each other a lot better this week. I think you probably wanted to strangle me a couple times because I was really keyed up for the match on Saturday, the Dog Brothers gathering. You said I was in fight mode. I remember you telling me that. It's like you were in fight mode that whole week. You were just, I can't remember how you put it, over the top or irritable, aggressive, and I was like blared music all the time and just I wanted to just go and I was like psyching myself up for the match and I didn't really even realize I was doing that until you said that. but you've been a coach for MMA people, I think you
A
said.
couple, yeah, a couple MMA people, a couple different little competition things,
Mhm.
and like that piece of the building to the event is always, I don't know, I always see it building layers myself.
Yeah.
And I'm a giant kind of freaking worrywart. So if I'm in somebody's corner, like I'm 100% more worried about it than they are. Each and
Yeah.
every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your support and Tina's support, well, and Carl wasn't at the match, but you guys' support was, I couldn't have done it without you for
Appreciate
sure.
that.
And thank you so much for going down there with me and driving me back afterwards. I had, for anybody's listening, I had said, Jamie, if you guys want to come with me, because you might need to drive me to the hospital if I get my fingers broken or my collarbone broken or a concussion, I might need to go to the hospital. So I'm gonna need a ride. So, he and Tina came and watched the whole Dog Brothers gathering, which, I was really, really thankful for his emotional support and Tina's. They're the best people. So I love them. I love them both. They probably wanted to kill me, but I love them.
Oh, it's all right. I mean, I come from a long line of dysfunction. So I'm always picking up on things. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's just a piece like at that moment. I remember the look on your eye when I was telling you, you kind of in fight mode. And you were like, huh?
Yeah, I didn't know what
Carry
that
the
meant.
one, divide by two. And then you
Yeah.
were like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know that until you had said that, and I was like, oh, maybe I am. I don't know because I've not done MMA matches or anything like that, so I don't have experience in that area. But my experience, though, I think sparring is very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been sparring since I was 12. At my first school because that was the way that our first school, my original school, was. Is one of the things that I think is cool. Remember a quote, and I was told was by Bruce Lee that students will want to learn more and more techniques until you have them spar, and then they'll stop asking about techniques and they'll start to perfect the ones that they have. But to me, it's like if you learn all these cool moves, but if you can't pull them off, what is the point? I mean, the point is the art and the fitness and the family. Yeah. But
Well, you could
if you're
say for
doing
you,
it,
right? So for you,
yeah,
there is no point, right?
yeah.
If you're not putting it together, there is no point.
Because, I mean, did you ever see, she must have seen Karate Kid, and he's like, this is not a knitting class. This is a karate dojo, so it's like, we're not doing this just for fun. At least I'm not. I'm doing this to be able to defend myself, to be able to defend my loved ones. And so to me, that's always been one of the main points,
Yeah.
or the main point. And then all the other stuff goes along with it, physical fitness and family, meeting family, and just all the things that go with martial arts. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's my point is, am I going to be able to take care of myself? So yeah, we sparred a lot in my original school. They had sparring every Friday. I remember every Friday night was sparring night. And
Yeah. I was
you know,
old school. It was always
yeah,
like that, right? There was once a week there was like a kick-ass class.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we did that. And we did some boxing. I did fight some boxing against, because I was the only girl in the class for a long time. So um there was two, three, I can remember three different guys that I sparred, and they were the ones that were a little closer to my size because I'm only 5'2". So, most people are a lot bigger than me.
She
But
may be little, but she is fierce.
thank you. So, but yeah, we would do boxing and stuff like that. So I think it's really important that you learn not to be afraid of things coming at you. And, if something is punching you in the face, that you block it or you parry it or you give back, you don't just freeze up. And
Either that or sometimes just realizing I'm okay.
yeah,
Right? I mean, sometimes it's that punch, you get punched and like, are you okay? Well, hold on,
I
I
am
am.
okay. I am
Right?
okay.
And knowing
Exactly.
that you could still go from that point. I had a gentleman hit me in the right above the eye with a really like a Dos Manos stick at one point,
Yeah.
and he was trying anyway. It was a long, drawn out ordeal. But at the time when it hit me, I was like, huh, I'm okay. And then I was like looking down and there's blood like spurting, and you know what I mean? All types of stuff going on. But I remember sitting there going, oh shit, he's a big guy and I'm okay. Huh,
Right.
I need to put that in the bank. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Of knowing that I can do that or can get through it. And I think that's a little bit about what you're talking about.
Oh,
Maybe?
absolutely. And when I was my first sensei, he's now in heaven. He passed
Yeah.
away in 2020, but he would tell the story about one of the guys that I was boxing, and he punched me. I was about 14, I believe he said, punched me right across the jaw. And he said, I thought for sure you were going to drop, but instead you turned back and you took the full force of that punch and you punched him right in the mouth. And he just like, I couldn't believe, like, you absorbed the energy and you gave it back. So he's like, somewhere I have that video and I want to give it to you someday. I still don't have it. I have to ask Tammy if she knows where it is. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's one of the things I try to do is absorb the energy and give it back. But say, I'm 54 now, so I'm a lot older. So I'm not looking to be punched in the face on a regular basis. That would land me at the chiropractors. And, it's like I was a kid then. But I still want to know that I can be able to take care of myself. So the Dog Brothers was a good way for me to be able to test my skills without, having somebody punch me right. This is my dog, everybody.
Hello, dog.
Where's Snoopy?
Oh, really? You have things to say.
Yeah.
All
He
right,
keeps
that's
checking if
it.
I'm not paying attention to him
The
at all
dog
times.
is like, you took my mother someplace for a week. I don't know how I feel about it.
Oh, yeah. He was so happy when I got back.
I
He
bet.
was, what was I saying? What were we talking about? Oh, the Dog Brothers. Yeah. So I got inflammatory arthritis about 2019 is when it started. And up until about last year, you know, I still have inflammatory arthritis. It's not something that goes away, but it is controlled with medication. So I've really felt normal, like pre-arthritis normal, just in the last year. So going to the Center Academy and practicing Muay Thai, it was amazing that I was able to even practice Muay Thai. And like, I couldn't even pivot do a kick or pivot before like a year ago. Because my ankles were messed up still and a little bit swollen. And even though I was a lot better than I was, but so anyways, somewhere in the middle of all this, I was like, okay, well, one thing I can do is still swing a stick. So I got involved with the Dog Brothers, and I was like, okay, so I don't necessarily want people yanking on my joints, but I can swing a stick and take a hit, I can do that. And so that was one good way for me to be able to test my skills, because I wasn't able to do Muay Thai. It was kind of how I transferred my aggressive energy, on my, let's practice this, let's do it this way. So that's how I got, I was like, all right, I want to go to the gathering. So a couple of my coaches that are full Dog Brothers, they're like, well, why don't you, they were giving me advice on who I should fight and who I shouldn't fight. And there's like, I said, I thought I wasn't supposed to fight men, because they were naming off these guys. I'm like, and they said, oh, no, you can fight full Dog Brothers. You just can't fight, because it's an open gathering. You cannot fight strangers because we don't know anything about them, blah, blah, blah. But as long as they're a full Dog Brother, it's the kind of same principle that you're safe for sparring a black belt as a white belt,
Oh, for
because
sure.
they have control. They're going to be able to pull the punches or not do something that's going to actually kill you, right? They're going to be able to stop
to degree, as Guru
right,
puts it, right? Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, so I'll fight full Dog Brothers. That's what they said the rules were. So they set me up with those fights. And so I got to the match and I was having a great time. I fought one Dog Brother first. His name is Steve, and he's like a huge guy, a lot bigger than me, defender dog, and he's an amazing person. And I will say the Dog Brothers, as a people, I met so many wonderful people at the gathering, and it was a great time.
It's a
So
great
Steve and
vibe. It was a great vibe there. There really was. I was like nervous for you and like checking it all out. And there's a part of me that was like, maybe I want to try this, at the same time. The energy was awesome though.
Yeah, it was a great group of people, and I had a lot of fun sparring Steve, and then I sparred a girl. Her name is Cheryl Lynn, and I believe she's also a full dog brother. I could be wrong. She could. I'm just going to say she's a full dog brother because that's what I believe they told me.
Sure.
So I fought Cheryl Lynn, and then I fought another man named Glenn, and that was a lot of fun. He was not as big as Steve, so he was closer to my size. So, that went, I think, a little more evenly matched than me against like a 300 pound 6 foot, however 6'6", I think. I don't know how tall he was, but he was a big guy.
He was a big
So
guy. Regardless,
yeah,
all of that makes sense.
yeah, but we had fun, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
in a real life situation, the size thing wouldn't necessarily matter as much because a stick is an equalizer and a knife is an equalizer. So it doesn't matter if I'm only 5'2" if I have a knife. You know what I mean? And I'm in a real situation. But this is still, even though they strive for realism in the Dog Brothers, but obviously you have to have a mask and you have to have um, the gloves on.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're still opening yourself up to injuries. There's always some injuries. I was very fortunate that I didn't break anything because I remember telling you, I need you to come with me because you might have to drive me to the hospital afterwards because if somebody breaks my fingers, because that's something that happens there. And I wasn't thrilled about the possibility of breaking my fingers, but I was willing to accept that. I also, in the back of my mind, thought, okay, well, I think, if you are skilled in how you move your arms and things like that, you can hopefully prevent that from happening as well. I know accidents still happen anyways, but that was my thing. It's like, oh, I'll be able to not get hit in the fingers, I hope. Or at least if I do, not bad enough. Because you know, my hands have been smashed since I was 12 years old from collie sticks. So when I'm doing collie with them and they hit me in the finger and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, didn't even feel it. There's nothing. It's
I
like
worked hard to deaden the nerves.
Right. So, I mean, not that I don't ever get hit hard in the hand and it hurts, but the nerves are pretty dead in my hands. So, but I do have a little girl that I take care of as I'm a nurse practitioner. I work in arthritis,
Mm-hmm.
which is funny because I have arthritis, but that's kind of how I got into the field that I'm in the first place. But that's a whole nother story. So, but I also have a little girl that I start her IV for her, and because I'm the only one that she wants me to start the IV. So when
Mm-hmm.
she gets her infusion every month, I start her IV. And I had told her about this, her and her mom. I was like, so I'm going to this thing. And I was like, you guys need to pray really hard for me that I don't break my fingers. Cause if that affects you directly, if I have my fingers, So they did. They prayed for me. And afterwards, mom was like, tell me when you're safe. Tell me when it's over. And I did. I texted him that day. I said, it's all over. I said, I've got some bruises, which, I was expecting, but I don't have any broken fingers. And they're like, oh, I'm so glad.
Mm.
But yeah, we had that's part of the fun is getting the bruises. It's kind of like you're showing them off to people. And I remember seeing a meme that said bruises are souvenirs, and it was like a Filipino martial arts thing. Bruises are souvenirs. Like, exactly.
They tell a story.
What?
Bruises tell a story.
Oh yeah.
Regardless, right? Scars, and like we said earlier, when guys talk to guys, we go, chicks dig scars. It's, you know what I mean? It's not really even true, but it's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's from the movie the Replacements with Keanu Reeves. Yeah. Chicks dig scars, and sure, I can't remember the quote, but that was part of it. Yeah, chicks dig scars. But anyways, yeah, I mean, to me, a bruise is part of it. And if I don't have one, then I probably wasn't fighting hard enough to begin with, because you have to really get in there. And I thought it was good because I'm 54. So it's like, I don't necessarily want to be taking punches to my jaw anymore, but at least I know if I had to, I can still do it.
Mm-hmm.
I can still take a hit. I can still give a hit. And, it was really good for me to be able to see that. So that, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go forward with the Dog Brothers beyond that gathering because Mark Denny changed the rules in the middle of the fight. Like, he saw me fight the two men, and I fought a girl as well. So after the third fight, which was the second man, he came up to me and said, "You are not allowed to fight the men." And I was like, "What?" He said, "I'm not asking, I'm telling. You're not allowed to fight the men." And so that really upset me because, like you said, I was in fight mode, right? And I really was, because I had already done 3 matches and I was going to do some more. And so I was totally in fight mode. But when he said that, I just thought, I have flown 2,000 miles across the country and trained all year for this. And you're telling me, but you won't even tell me why. But it doesn't matter why, because there's no reason why I shouldn't have been able to do it. I was doing well. It wasn't like I was getting my butt kicked or anything like that. So, and we were all having fun. So, anyways, I decided to leave, and I decided as an Inosano instructor that I cannot endorse an organization that's not going to be on board with the 21st century. So, and the sad part was that the dog brothers, the people that were there, they were like, we don't understand, because they were like, yeah, you can fight men. Of course you can. And, they were full dog brothers themselves, and they knew full well they were fighting a woman, me. And it's really just Mark Denny that had that opinion, that, it was a politically based opinion that had nothing to do with me as a person. It was just, women and men. And I'm like, if the US military cannot, I should be able to make decisions about my own fate. Do I think women should be in combat? Not necessarily, but is it my decision? No, it's their decision. They're adults, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, which, to go back to that comment, women being in combat, I'm not even getting onto that subject, but I think that if any woman should be in combat or anything like that, they should be able to hold the same standards as a man. If you can't be a Navy SEAL by doing the exact same thing as a man, then you shouldn't be a Navy SEAL. Because if someone is trying to protect me, I want them to be able to do everything the same. You know what I mean? I don't want standards lowered.
Makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to sound feminist in the sense that I think women need to be catered to. Exactly the opposite. I think that we need to be given the same exact chance. We should not be told that we can't have a chance, and we should be given the same chance. And that's what I objected to, was being told that even though you're doing fine, you're not allowed to do this. So I was like, all right. So we went back to the Inosano Academy, and I've just taken, this was about a month ago. Yeah, it's like a month and a couple days ago that we were there. And it's been kind of hard because a lot of the guys, they don't understand my point of view. Being a man, they don't understand what the big deal is. So a couple of them do. But it's Mark Denny's organization. So I just want to stick to the organizations that are respectful of women. And that would be, Inosano Academy, Rick Fay's group, my original instructor, they never treated me any different as a girl. And then, I trained with David and Linda Hatch, and, obviously they didn't treat me any different as a girl, so it's like, that's just kind of how I decided. And it's unfortunate because I love being able to spar and being able to test my skills. But the good news is that, since we were at the academy all week and I saw, I can do Muay Thai again. This is amazing. And I was just so thankful that I can maybe actually practice that again. So I don't know exactly where I'm going to go from here, but
I think Muay Thai is going to be evolved. I saw you smile, and then when you got a chance to spar, every time you tried to punch me in the face, and you got me a couple times, if I remember correctly, like you had this shit-eating grin on your face. That was like a little, and I was like, it wasn't the punch that but it irritated me. I was like the smile afterwards, right? But it was the fact that you were finding out you still had your Muay Thai muscles.
Yes.
That's really important. Out of curiosity, Michelle, were you able to talk with Mark Denny at all afterwards?
Well, he did send a text that explained the reason why he did that, but it was a politically based reason that had nothing to do with me. And like I said, that's not fair to me or any woman. So I I understand the point that he was trying to make, but I don't agree with it. So there you have it.
It
So
happens. It happens. Anytime that you've had as many instructors as you've had, you're going to have times where you're not going to agree. Sometimes, and
yeah.
that's going to be a piece of that, without a doubt. Are you happy you did it?
Oh yes, it was amazing. I
Yeah.
loved it. So it was a great time, and hopefully if they decide to evolve in the future, maybe I might try it again. From the sounds of it, I can go to Canada, but I don't know if I necessarily want to. With the political status of the world, would they let me back in? It's like I'm afraid to cross the border. I'm afraid to leave the country.
Just afraid. Right, you know what I mean? Which is really funny if you think about it, because here we are on a podcast talking about doing martial arts. You just fought with a stick. Not fearful. But to go to a different country and then know you can get back into America with the way things are going, they could change the rules within a week of being there. Right? You know what I mean? And that's scary.
Yeah. So I mean I'm probably being a little,
Of course you are.
ridiculous and thinking that, but
Of course you are. But the
anyway,
world is ridiculous. None of this makes any sense anymore. And
yeah.
everybody's loud. Everybody has an opinion, and we all feel that it's more important than the other guys. So if we can yell louder,
Yeah.
that's obviously the answer,
Right.
So, and
Yeah. It's unfortunate that people do that, but
yeah,
what are you going to do? You just got to keep going forward. And fortunately, I have enough martial arts um, background that, there's so many things I can do. Like just this last weekend, I went to a seminar with Cass Magda, and,
yeah,
and that was amazing. I love Cass. I wish that he would come out to this side of the country a little more often. And you should definitely. Did you say you'd met Cass before or no?
yeah. I got to do a training seminar with him in New York City.
Oh, that's right. You did say that. Okay.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. He's a lot of fun to train with. And then Rick Fay, I'm going to his seminar in a couple weeks here. So, that's always a lot of fun. There's it's a huge family with a lot of different areas that you can get involved in. There's always
Mm-hmm.
something new to try. Um, there's always good people in the mix. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
I adore that group.
yeah,
That's just one of those things that I don't always feel a part of, but that's me more than the group.
which
Uh,
group are you talking about?
huh?
Which group? Which?
MKG.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's a wonderful group, just a
Yeah,
wonderful
yeah, yeah.
group of people, and I just absolutely adore them, and they teach so much. And one of the neat things about them is the culture that they've created,
Yeah.
right? Where good standards, phenomenal martial arts,
Mhm.
but some of the sweetest people you'll ever meet before in your life.
Right.
I when I first started trying to put together my AIM program, it was kind of based on what I saw happen with them during COVID. They did a class just to keep their group together, to keep everybody sane.
Yeah.
And they ended up with this absolutely phenomenal online platform that I think is probably the best for Kali Jeet Kune Do that's out there.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Personally, I'm not a Zoom person. I mean, me doing this today is unusual. I mean, I had to learn more because I went to grad school and got my nurse practitioner degree in the middle of the pandemic as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
I know a whole lot more about Zoom and online stuff than I did before. But I mean, there's nothing that can beat the one-on-one, person to person training. But Rick Fay does a really good job of doing the best he can. Like I did participate in one of his online classes.
Me too.
And I thought, this is amazing. This is, he makes it fun, even though he's in a completely different state. And, he has people from all over the world. And, a lot of his times he has these classes, though I'm usually doing something else like the time of day. It's usually on a Sunday morning when I'm at church, actually, but because of the time zone difference and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's an amazing guy.
He
So
is.
I love training with him.
Their group is phenomenal, and I don't make all the classes either,
Yeah.
but as far as just what they've created and the people that they have there.
Yeah.
Just absolutely amazing. So, as I've talked with different people that have done the Dog Brothers piece, something that I think is absolutely fascinating is some talk about it like an emotional dump afterwards,
Hmm.
right? Did you find
Yeah.
that piece, or was it like your emotional dump? I'm sorry, but did you get pissed because the other thing, or did you have an emotional dump by fighting? Is what I should ask.
Not by fighting, no. See, that when I listen to a lot of the other Dog Brothers talk, they make it to be this quest for whatever, quest for worth, quest for fulfillment, quest to be a man or whatever. They have a quest, and it's not a quest to me. It
What
was
is it then if it's not a quest?
test your skills, have fun, make sure that you can still defend yourself and have a great time, meet a lot of people. I'm not looking for something as a martial artist because I've been doing this since 1983. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to prove anything to myself.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I am testing to see if I can still physically. It's like, okay, can you still hit? Can you still take a hit? You're 54. What happens if somebody punches you in the face? Are you going to fall over now that you're old? Or are you going to get mad and punch them back like you did when you were younger? So it's like that was reassuring to me that I can still take a hit and give it back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was really helpful to me. And so it's like, okay, it doesn't matter if somebody does attack me. I'm not going to freak out. I didn't forget everything that I learned. It hasn't left me. It's still in there. It's still in my bones.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But to me, it was about testing my skills and just having a great time. And it wasn't about trying to complete myself or do anything like that. The hardest thing, I would say I've ever done as far as martial arts was Muay Thai camp. And that was hard because you're doing it for 4 days, whereas the Dog Brothers, they have 2-minute matches.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's full contact. It's 2 minutes. Muay Thai is 4 days. From morning till night, we literally did Muay Thai from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. I mean, and you had a break for each meal, but usually I was so exhausted, I couldn't even think about eating. I survived that week. Just some protein bars that I had in my suitcase because it was like, there's no way I can eat and then go back out there and do Muay Thai for 3 more hours. There's just so, but yeah, that was that was, I think, the most difficult thing that I've done is put my body through that for that whole week. So, and I wish I could go back. Unfortunately, Master Chai, he did cancel it this year because of him being ill. So I really hope that they have it again. And I wouldn't mind going back if they do.
Yeah.
So even though I'm old now.
Well, it's interesting because back in this piece with the quest,
Uh-huh.
there is a certain part of like the hero's journey
Uh-huh.
that calls to people at times.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you've been on a quest? That's
I mean,
fascinating, Michelle.
it's it's
Now,
a bucket list, yes. A goal, yes. I don't need to prove myself as far as a quest, you know. Um, is that does that answer what you're asking?
well, essentially, the very fact that you didn't feel like there was a quest, and I've heard from other people, and we don't always use the name quest, right? You're
Yeah.
right, everybody's got a journey, they got their thing, or whatever that is. But as Guru Rick says, a lot of us are doing martial arts not necessarily for the same reasons we think we're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, in a lot of ways, there are some phenomenal people. I mean, whatever that is. But in some ways, I don't know. I feel like a part of like the Island of Misfit Toys sometimes. Right? You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Just like in that case, because I talked about people about going on vacation, and they're like, "Well, so you finally went on vacation with your wife? Where did you go?" And I was like, "Well, we went to the Asano Academy, and we did Cabri Cabrong and chased each other with sticks." And they're like, that's not a vacation. And I was like,
Right.
well, I feel great about it. And so does my wife. And for us, that was the vacation.
Yeah, and me
Right?
too. That was like my favorite week of the year. Everything about that trip except for that one event at the end with the Dog Brothers. Just that ending, the ending of a, and even that day was amazing up until that point. So it was just that one thing, just that one fly in the ointment. But as far as I know exactly what you mean, that's my first choice of a vacation is to go to the Inosano Academy. Every year I try to get down there. It's like I don't go on cruises or stuff like that. I don't. I would rather go train.
Well, there's nothing wrong with
So
that. I mean,
like,
I don't go on cruises or anything like that. And I don't know.
yeah,
I don't really,
yeah,
really do a whole lot. But what I think is fascinating is you are somebody who's heavily spiritual, okay? Religious, okay? In that way, do you think that fills you up in a way that maybe you're not on a quest for because of that reason?
Oh, you mean spiritually?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesus is my quest. I don't need another quest if that's what you're asking. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
not
somewhat because it feels like a quest, right? A
okay.
lot of people in their own way will describe it as a quest. You and
Uh-huh.
I got done right now, and to our listeners, they would say that was a quest. What you
Okay.
did to go out there, that was what and testing your skills and all that. But you didn't
Yeah.
feel that way. I just know you as being my friend, and
Uh-huh.
you have always been religious. And does the religious piece fill you up so you don't feel like you're on a quest? That's my question.
Jesus fills me up.
Beautiful.
So I don't feel like I'm out of quest. I don't was not religion, but Jesus, the person of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. So yes, that's my meaning, that's my spiritual, that's if martial artists that are searching for something,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's themselves or meaning or significance. I don't search for any of that because I have all that in Christ.
Good for you. That's phenomenal. That's great.
Um, so yeah, I had not even thought of it that way until you just said that. But yeah, I don't have to prove. I am a very goal oriented person. So I mean, as far as quests in that sense, I'm always trying to do something. Like, I got my black belt when I was 16, and then my first instructorship was through Inosano, and then Rick Fay and Larry Hartzell. And then I went after Master Chai, so it's like all those things. It's like now, yes, I'm disappointed that I'm not going to be going further with the Dog Brothers, but I also, as an Inosano instructor, want to make sure that I don't condone or endorse or give the appearance of endorsing something that needs to be updated to the 21st century. And I don't think that we should be discriminated against. Like, we should be allowed to make our own decisions as far as women. We're grown women. It's like if I want to fight a man, who are you to tell me that I can't fight a man? Because who's going to attack me in the street? A man. So if I'm doing this for combat, this is what I want, is to be able to make it as realistic as possible, you know. So to me, that's the point of it. But yeah, so now, if you're like, what do you want to do next? What's your next goal? And I don't necessarily have one. It's only been a month.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I am excited about being able physically to do Muay Thai again. But if something else cool comes along and grabs my attention, I'll probably go after it because I just I love to pursue goals
Mm-hmm.
and learn new things and do things like that. So, I've had the martial arts goals, and then in the middle of the pandemic, I had my nurse practitioner school. So that was a quest for little over 2 years, and so that took up a lot of my time. So it's like, what am I doing now besides living? Nothing. I'm not working towards a goal at the moment, but I'm sure one will come along. Because
You'll find it. You're gonna look for it. You'll find it.
it'll find me probably, because that's kind of how it usually. It's like, wait a minute, because I wasn't looking for a goal with the Dog Brothers either. It's just, there they were, and I had the opportunity to go to the the first gathering back in 2021 in Chicago. And it's like, this is really fun, and with the pandemic and Guru Dan wasn't traveling anymore, like he still isn't traveling like he used to be. So it's like, it freed me up to do a lot more of those things instead. And that's how I got involved there. But it wasn't like I was looking for it. It sort of fell in my lap. So I have to see what happens next. I don't know.
Yeah, you
But
never know. You never know. And so the at first the dog brothers that you were allowed that you did fight, right? Were they
yeah.
were full dog brothers?
Yeah. Yeah. Because my coaches, they had
They
set
had
me up
set
with
him
full
up.
dog runners. And yeah. So, and I can't remember if we talked about this already, but yeah, Mark Denny is the only one that follows those rules anymore, according to the dog brothers that I've spoken to afterwards. It's like in Canada, they fight women and men, and Europe, they fight women and men. And so it's like, what,
Are,
why?
are there any other differences?
What do you mean?
Like, is there any other differences if you're in Canada and Europe, other than just this piece?
Not that I'm aware of, but I haven't been.
Yeah,
So I can't,
sure.
I can only know what people have told me.
Oh, of course, of course. I was just wondering in that way. I mean, quite often, being part of an organization, once it goes overseas or goes, sometimes it changes a little bit and it fits
Yeah.
more their culture or however we choose to look at it,
Yeah.
right? So I was just wondering about that piece.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, maybe at some point I might try in a different country. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
yeah. You never know what happens. You never know what happens at all. How many fights did you have?
That day,
Yeah.
3.
You had 3 fights.
Yeah.
2 were guys, right? Full dog
Yeah.
brothers, and then a
I was
lady.
hoping to do 2 more fights. My coach had set me up with 5 fights, is
With
what he told me originally. Um,
okay.
so I was going to do that one, but that one was actually the 4th fight was actually going to be a female, because he had set me up with 3 men and 2 women. So the 4th fight, she came over and asked me if I was ready to fight. And at that point, I had already told him, my coach, that I was like, I'm going to have to leave because I'm not going to do this. This is ridiculous. I'm not doing this. So, I told her, I said, I would love to fight you normally under normal circumstances. I'd love to fight you, but I have to remove myself from this situation. So that's what I did. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
you never know. Sometimes sometimes things get lost in translation too,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, did talk to a friend, a martial arts friend, after a female, and she's like, I've seen everything in this martial arts life, which she's been in it about the same amount of time as me.
Mm-hmm.
And so have I, really. I mean, this is not the first time, but probably will not be the last, where there's been a disagreement in martial arts. There's everybody's ego is involved.
Yeah.
There's so many factors involved, and it's probably not the first. I know it's not the first time, and it's probably not gonna be the last time, but I know that as long as I stick with Inosato and Rick Fay, that I'm they're really well done organizations. They know how to run things, and they're very good about being fair, and they know everything there is to know about the art. So I can never run out of things to study
Mm-hmm.
from Larry Hartzell. I love too. He passed away, but I have his curriculum. That's how I got involved with his organization, because I trained with him when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a big, huge guy, and he would always tell me, he's like, you're small, so you're going to have to get in there really close, but he never treated me any different, even though I was 13 at the time. And he was like, this is what you're going to need to do. And he just showed me how to do stuff. And then Master Chai, of course, that's hardcore stuff. If you can train to do Muay Thai camp, something like that, that's hardcore. Then there's also, this is another thing I thought interesting. maybe this will be next. I don't know. I at least would like to go watch. There's the fights in Iowa that they put on every summer, the Muay Thai TBA tournament. It's the largest one in the country. And I think they said the world, maybe not the world, but definitely the country.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's like, I've never been out to that. I've never been to watch. And I was like, my friend had suggested to me that I fight. And I'm like, I'm 54. I can't fight in a Muay Thai fight. Are you kidding me? Because that's a whole nother level of getting in shape. I'm in the best shape I've been in since 15, 16. I don't know. It's been a long time. I'm in really good shape, but for me to get ready for a Muay Thai fight, that would take months and months and months and months. And that's a whole nother level. So I'd have to, but anyways, so I told her, I was like, well, I don't even think they would let me fight at age 54, but they do. They call it the seniors division. Because I'm like, do you actually even let women that are, of course, then you would fight against a woman because it's a combat sport, right? So, but I guess over the age of 55, you do not take headshots. So I'm like, I like that. I don't especially want to be elbowed in the head, over and over and over again at age 55. I don't think that'd be good for my arthritis.
Probably not. Going out on a limb. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just thinking the damage that would do to my neck, So, but anyways, it was a fun idea. So.
Well, it's a good thing that doesn't sound like a quest. Just saying, but we all have different things that fill us up. And Michelle, I just want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing your experience and all that good stuff. And you did it.
Thank you.
That's one of those things, like literally. And I remember telling you the story about me and my little jiu-jitsu competition that I did. And there's a piece of that to have that experience, and maybe you weren't supposed to continue to go.
Right. Maybe there's always a reason.
Right? And maybe when Guru Denny did that, he saw something. There might be another reason. You never know.
Well,
just because he is the ringmaster in the organization, and sometimes we got to trust in that a little bit. And I'm not telling you to trust blindly in no man. I understand what year it is. But there's usually more than one reason.
Perhaps. He did tell me the reason after, but
good for you.
I don't agree with it.
For sure.
So, I wanted to say one thing
that
I forgot to say on the first podcast that I did with you. And you were talking about how sometimes women need to ask permission to be able to hit each other or fight.
I said be given permission. Just because at my school, that's something that I find we're in the Midwest, super, super nice and whatever that is. Yeah. And so I give permission. Why? Because now I want to hear you scream. And I want to see you nail something really hard. And then notice that there is, like, before we have this verbal permission, and then after. And for some people, that's a huge ordeal.
Yeah. And what I wanted to say about that is, if you as a woman wait for permission, you will be waiting the rest of your life because you aren't going to get it. You have to give it to yourself.
Absolutely.
So that's what I want to say about women. But as far as I see what you mean, giving permission, because when I've taught women self-defense seminars and stuff, and I always want them to actually hit a pad, actually hit, hard. And they're like, this is so fun. This is so amazing, because they've never done it before. They don't know what it feels like to actually use your power and be able to get your anger out by punching, on a pad or using your knee or your elbow, or a stick. It's really, really therapeutic.
That's absolutely right. I remember bringing Guru Diana Rathborn here to Wausau, and she had these suits, and we would put on these suits, and the ladies beat the whatever out of us. like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, just a little bit,
Oh,
right? You know what I mean? And maybe not so bad, but I swear this is a little visor.
yeah.
And that was one of the scariest things I ever saw in my life. After 25 years of martial arts, was all of a sudden some of these ladies, after being with Diana for 45 minutes and then being stuck in a big plastic fishbowl thing and just
Uh,
having them go.
right.
And then at the end to take it off and watch posture on the way out.
Yeah.
Because no woman left with the same posture. Not one. I
Yeah.
had one young lady who maybe had some trauma. I don't know. I'm a man. I wasn't involved. I let the ladies deal with it. But she went from having almost a panic attack
Yeah.
to on the way out, like coming up, giving me a 5 and telling me that she's going to join the school. Like almost like chest bumps. Check you later. Came in like
That's awesome.
this, had a
Yeah.
small moment, and left. Head held
Yeah.
high.
Good.
Yeah, it's important. You know?
Yeah, and that's what martial arts should be about is helping people that are not able to defend themselves or don't know how, and teaching them so that they have self-respect and they, you know, feel like confidence in themselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
Whether that be a man or a woman or a child, martial arts is good for everybody in that respect.
yeah.
So,
And that reminds me to a cheesy line that I probably say all the time now, which is, we are all worth fighting for.
yes.
And that is essentially what I took from what you just said there.
Yeah.
Michelle, thank you for coming on the show. It was a short episode today, one of 2, but we had lots of fun. And, well, when you do your next thing, we won't
Okay.
call it a quest, okay? You're going to come
Okay.
back and talk to us about it just a little bit. Because you're in a mover and a shaker out there, and I enjoy listening to you sometimes. Sometimes when you're not going crazy in your fight mode.
I know. I know you wanted to kill me. I know you wanted to kill me that week, so I'm sorry.
Maybe hit you with a stick once or twice, but I knew if I waited till Saturday, somebody else would do it. So it worked itself out.
Yeah, what was it you said that one time? You said you aren't even going to make it to the Dog Brothers fight.
I
You were
don't
mad about
remember saying
something.
that, but it sounds like something I would have said. Yeah.
I'm going to crack your head open, and you aren't even going to make it to Saturday. I remember you saying that once. Yeah.
Okay, anyway, my name is Jamie Sparling, and this is today's episode of the FormABLE Podcast. Michelle Nelson Kuzma, and I don't remember saying that. But I'll see
Really?
you next time on the FormABLE Podcast. Really. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.